You know when you're listening to a playlist and it jumps from, say, the super complex funk of Nigerian Afrobeat straight into the global pulse of Bad Bunny, and you think, okay, these sound worlds apart. Well, what if I told you they're actually connected by a secret rhythmic code? A single thread that weaves its way through centuries and across continents, right into the songs you are streaming today.
Yeah, that thumping, infectious beat that makes you want to move, it has a deep, powerful history. And trust me, once you understand where it comes from, you are never going to hear your favorite music the same way again. All right, let's get into it. We're going to follow that rhythmic thread, tracing a journey all the way from West Africa through the Caribbean and landing right at the top of the global pop charts. And listen, this isn't just some dry music history lesson. This is the story of a beat that survived, transformed, and basically conquered the world.
And the only reason we can tell this incredible story is thanks to the amazing research by Dr. Ronnie Rodas, who put together hundreds of sources to piece this whole narrative together. We also have to give a huge credit to historian Derek Bennett, who is a crucial consultant for this work. Seriously, together, they've uncovered connections that were hiding in plain sight this whole time.
So, where does this all begin? Well, to really get the music of today, we have to go way back. Back to the source, the foundational rhythmic principles from West and Central Africa. This is the base code, the operating system for everything that comes next.
Okay, so the first and maybe the most important concept to wrap your head around is polyrhythm. Now, it's not what you might think. It's not one drummer playing a super complicated beat. No, it's actually way cooler. It's several different instruments, each playing their own simple pattern. But when they play together, those patterns lock into place, kind of like gears in a machine, to create this one irresistible, complex groove. And polyrhythm is just one of the three main pillars. Then you've got call and response, which is pretty much what it sounds like, a musical conversation between a leader and a chorus. And finally, there's a cyclical form. This means the music is built on these repeating grooves that can just go on and on. It's designed for dancing, for community, not for a simple verse-chorus-verse song structure. These three things, that's the DNA.
Okay, now let's see what happens next. This rhythmic DNA gets carried across the Atlantic through the slave trade. And once it's in the Americas, it starts to evolve and adapt in these incredible new ways. It's like it sprouts these parallel branches on totally different continents.
So check this out. Over in Lagos, Nigeria, you've got the legendary Fela Kuti and his drummer Tony Allen, and they're fusing that core rhythmic code with American jazz and funk to create Afrobeat. At the very same time, literally, in the Caribbean, musicians are blending that exact same rhythmic code with Spanish melodies and horns, and boom, you get the foundations of salsa and merengue. Different ingredients, different languages, but that shared DNA, it's unmistakable. So where do these two worlds finally collide? New York City, of course. By the 60s and 70s, New York is this incredible cultural laboratory. You have musicians and DJs from African American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Jamaican communities all living together, creating together, influencing each other. They're borrowing sounds, sharing ideas, and setting the stage for the next big explosion. And that explosion, it centers around one specific iconic rhythm, a beat so powerful it would go on to define an entire global genre. You know it. It's the Dem Bow. This timeline just lays out the journey perfectly. It all starts in Jamaica in the late 80s when producers Steely and Clevie cook up this new digital beat, or rhythm, for the dancehall scene. Then that rhythm travels to Panama, where artists start singing over it in Spanish. And from there, it lands in Puerto Rico, where underground DJs like DJ Playero start mixing it with hip-hop and give it the name we all know today, reggaeton. So here's the crucial points. All that debate about who invented reggaeton, it kind of misses the bigger picture. It was a team effort. Jamaica created the rhythmic foundation. Panama pioneered the whole Spanish language adaptation. And Puerto Rico branded the genre and exported it to the entire world. Every single piece was absolutely essential. But wait, there's another huge piece to this puzzle, and it's all about technology. The story of how these beats traveled so far, so fast, is completely tied to the rise of the sampler, a tool that would change music forever. Just take the famous Amen break. It's this tiny 6-second drum solo from a B-side track by a soul group called the Winstons. In the 80s, hip-hop producers started grabbing that little sample, looping it, and building brand new songs on top of it. That one little piece of Afro Diasporic rhythm became the actual backbone for hip-hop, for jungle, for drum and bass. entire genres. But here's the tough part. In those early days, this was all happening without permission, and more importantly, without payment. The band leader of the Winstons, Richard Louis Spencer, he later called it exactly what it was: exploitation. The creators of these foundational grooves, who were mostly black musicians, almost never saw a dime from the massive global hits that were built on their work. For a while, the music industry was basically the Wild West. But then, a huge court case in 1991 completely changed the rules, making it clear that unauthorized sampling was copyright infringement. That forced the big labels to start licensing samples. Though, honestly, the ethics and the money behind it all are still being debated today. Which finally brings us to today. All of these streams, the ones from Lagos, from the Caribbean, from Jamaica, from New York, they've all merged into this one massive global river of sound. And the impact is just staggering. I mean, look at the biggest genres in the world right now. That foundational rhythmic DNA isn't just present, it's completely dominant. It is the very pulse of modern pop music. Just think about the artists topping all the charts. Bad Bunny and J Balvin, they're writing new variations of that Dem Bow rhythm. Burna Boy and Wizkid, they're building on the foundations laid by Fela Kuti. They are all speaking the exact same rhythmic language, just with their own unique accents. And you know, that's exactly why when you hear these artists collaborate, it sounds so seamless. It sounds so right. It's not some forced crossover for marketing. It's a family reunion. The music just clicks because deep down at its core, it comes from the same place. So the next time you open your playlist, try not to see separate boxes for reggaeton, Afrobeats, and hip-hop. See them for what they really are. Different chapters in the same epic story. One long, unbroken, rhythmic conversation that is still evolving as we speak. So the real question now, it's for you. The next time you press play on anything, listen a little closer. Listen for those layers, for the call and response, for that interlocking pulse. Now that you know the code, what hidden connections are you going to discover?